Hi, Karl again. Thanks for stopping by. Today we were going to go ahead and talk about something a little bit different. This I learned from the Floyd Wickman company, and essentially what this is talking about, this is called the Diamond of Salesmanship. Now, the Diamond of Salesmanship has really helped me out personally a lot in many circumstances. You see, when we tend to think about real estate sales, we forget that everything in life is simply sales. It doesn't matter if you sell real estate. It doesn't matter if you're trying to sell your kids on trying to do their homework. It doesn't matter if you're trying to sell telephones out of a booth or kiosk in the mall. Sales is simply sales. And the better you get at sales, then you can take those skills, apply it to the product or service that you're trying to provide, and you'll be a lot more successful at it. So sales here, in this case, we're going to talk about what's called the Diamond of Salesmanship. Diamond of Salesmanship. Now, the Diamond of Salesmanship is really 4 components that you want to add to everything you're doing, okay? And the first one, okay, is simply the name. You always want to go ahead and make sure you use the name of person or the people that you're talking to. So, for example, if you're a real estate agent and you're out showing property, and you're in your car, if you're like most agents or myself, I've done this too. You're sitting in the car, and quite frankly, you've been in the car all day with 4 or 5 different people, and you just lose track. You forget who you're with, And earlier this afternoon, you were with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And a little bit later on, you were with Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and now you're with Mr. and Mrs. say Green, and you're driving along, and you're like, "So, folks, how are you? Hey guys, there's only so far that you can take that with, and before they start thinking, well, wait a minute, do you even know who the heck I am?" And the fact is, the more often you use somebody's name, okay, then that's really something that's going to cause them to understand you know them. You're personally connecting with them. And you only want to use the name, okay, when you're trying to establish some kind of bond with them. So you use this when you're trying to present to them and make it personal, and be honest about it. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I understand that you want to sell your home and move to Tampa, and that's okay. I think that's great. I want to help you in every way I can. However, Mr. and Mrs. Green, the price that you're asking for your property simply will not allow that to happen. So my question to you is, do you want to move to Tampa Bay, or would you prefer to stay here? Which would be better for you? Okay? So using their name in an example will really help quite a bit. The next one, okay, is facial expressions. Facial expression. Facial expressions, okay? Now, when I talk about facial expressions, it is true that your mind, your tone of voice will all be affected by the way that you say things and the way that you look at things. So, for example, I can be in a great mood, and I can just scrunch my eyes and close my face and grit my teeth. This is a great day. Nobody's going to believe that. If I'm talking to you and you say to me, "Hey, how is the day going?" and I say, "Oh, it's just wonderful," it doesn't make a difference what I say. My face gives it away, okay? Likewise, if I'm smiling and say, "Oh, the wonderful world is just great. I've had 9 deals fall apart in 2 days. I have no money coming in. Things are wonderful." That's not congruent with what it is I'm trying to really say. So your facial expressions are incredibly important when you're dealing with a client. So for example, if you're on the phone and you're telephoning a prospect, whether it be to list or to sell their home, and you're simply saying, "Hey, this is a great day. I'm excited about seeing you then," or "Hey, this is wonderful, great, fantastic." Your smile, your face, that's all going to come across on the phone. And likewise, when you're prospecting, or when you're presenting, I should say, to a person on their property, okay, and you say, "Well, Mr. and Mrs. Smith," the name, "I can appreciate that you want $1,000 or for earnest money. But isn't it true that if this buyer walks away I mean, haven't you lost everything you wanted? I mean, really, is that what you really want? See, it's the facial expressions. You know, this, is that really what you want? You're shaking your head, no. You know, I mean, I understand. You know, your face is kind of like, you know, I understand. So it's all the way you use your face. So make sure that your facial expressions are congruent with what it is you're trying to convey. Okay? And the next, of course, is visuals. Visuals, okay? Now remember, visuals, okay, you've probably heard this before. A picture is worth 1,000, no. It's not worth 1,000 words. It's worth $1,000. Okay, think about it. Visuals are worth $1,000. So here you are doing your here you are doing your presentation. Okay, you're going over some comparables with the seller, and you're saying, okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is active listing number 1, active listing number 2, active listing number 3. You know, how many bedrooms are they asking? Let them answer. Point it out. And how many baths are they asking, or do they have? How many bedrooms? How many square feet? How much are they asking? When you're asking these questions, let them answer, because then it goes into their head and out of their mouth. You have heard it. They've heard it. They've thought about it. Now they're repeating it out. That's that whole set of acceptances that they have to make. Additionally, when you're making your presentation, if you have pictures of the property that you're comparing their home to, that's really good to use, because then they can flip through it. They think always that their home is better than everybody else. Do they not? And if their home is not better than everybody else's, okay, then they will say, well, you know, our home, okay, has a better lot, or it has more upgrades, or it is better than others because those people are under distress. You know, they've got a divorce sale, the REO, they're a short sale, we're not having to do that. You know, whatever it is that they say, invariably, their home or their situation is always, okay, their home or their situation is always better than anybody else in the neighborhood. So as soon as you come to grips with that, you won't be surprised. But the hard, cold truth is, when you show visuals of something, especially a property, okay, and they say, well, you know, their home is terrible. You know, it doesn't have the upgrades ours does. And you say, okay, great. You know, I can appreciate that. However, let me show you some pictures from the multiple listing service. As you can see, their kitchen is upgraded. As you can see, their bedroom's got new carpet, new paint, you know, whatever it is. And so that can help them understand that, look, you're not better. Well, we're not in an REO or a distressed situation. I can appreciate that too. However, look at the market that you're in. Okay, right now there's 4,500 homes for sale, and last month only 1,200 of them actually sold, which means that there's really there's a 4-month supply of homes on the market if nobody else comes on the market. And what's worse is last month 1,500 homes, you're showing it to them, 1,500 homes came on the market. Right? So my question is, I know that we can sell your home, but the question is, how long will it take before your home will sell? Visuals, using the statistics, using the MLS sheets, you know, those sorts of things are going to help the seller understand exactly what it is you're trying to say. Okay? Now the last one I want to go over to you, okay, is questions. Questions. Okay? Your use of questions and your ability to use questions will determine the level of success that you will have in real estate or sales in general. Okay? Most of the time, what agents will do is they will spend inordinate amounts of time telling the seller exactly what they need to do, exactly what they need to say, exactly what they need to think, exactly what they need to, you know, all this stuff. Agents will talk, and never shut up. When in reality, what the seller wants is for you to just shut up. Let me tell you where I'm coming from. Tell me if you can fix this, and let's do some business. That's all they want. Okay? Think about it this way. Okay? This has nothing to do with the Diamond of Salesmanship, but it is true, and it's something you need to know. Okay, what does a seller want? What do they want? What do they want to know from you? Okay, number one, the first thing they want to know, okay, is how much can I get? How much can I get from this sale? When everything's said and done, how much is going to be in my pocket? Okay, that's number one. Number two thing they want to know, how long? How long is it going to take before I get what I want? Okay? And then the last thing they want to know, okay, is how are you going to get it? You know, or another way to put it is, what are you going to do to get my home sold? Okay? How much am I going to get? Well, I'm going to make $120,000. Okay, great. How long is it going to take me to get my money? 3 months. How are you going to get it done? Well, I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. Anything other than that, okay, is simply nothing more than fluff. All right? When you are asking questions, the person who asks the questions is the person who controls the conversation. All right? So, for example, if you're having problems with a seller who keeps talking and talking and talking about stuff that has nothing to do, you know, they're telling you about their cat and their neighbor whose cat got away, or they're telling you about their friend down the way who had a real estate license 25 years ago, you know, or whatever. If you want to break that pattern, you have to ask a question. So the way to do that is to simply say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I completely understand. You know, let me ask you a question. If we could get this property sold in the next 30 to 45 days, would that pose a problem for you? Okay? Whoa, wait a minute. How long is it going to take? For 30 to 45 days. Well, no, that really wouldn't cause a problem at all. Okay, great. And if I could get you, say, I don't know, $3,000, maybe $4,000 more than you could 3 months from now, would you consider moving your plans up a little bit? I don't know, maybe. Okay, great. If I could show you a way that would help you get what you want faster, would that be something that you'd be interested in? Well, yes, it would. So whenever you're asking questions, okay, that allows you to control the conversation. Remember, in any sales situation, somebody's got to be in control and somebody is not, okay? More often than not, it's the seller who's in control and not you. That is a very, very bad place to be, okay? It's not a lot of fun when they're calling the shots. You are the real estate professional. It's your job to take control and show them exactly how much they're going to get, how long it's going to take, and what you're going to do to make this all happen. And if you can do it quickly, so much the better. And the reason why is the more you talk, the less likely you're going to list the home or sell the home. Let me explain. If, let's say, they invite you over to the home, okay? They invite you over to the home for a particular reason. Let's say it's to sell the property. They're interviewing agents, let's say, okay? They are firmly convinced in their head that you can sell a property, okay, for two reasons. First, that's why they're having you over there. Surely they're convinced that you can do it. And secondly, you know, you're a real estate professional. You've been taught. You're licensed by the state. Obviously, you know what the heck you're doing, okay? That's what they assume. When you come through the door and you start talking, okay, that's when they start thinking, well, wait a minute, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. He says my home is comparable to this townhouse down 4 miles away. You know, or he says that he can get it done that $200,000 more than my neighbor's home sold. I'm not that stupid. Okay, what's this guy doing here? The more you talk, the less likely, okay, look at it this way. Visuals. They look at it this way. This is what they think you can do. This is what they think you can do while you've not said anything. The more you talk, the less they believe you can do it. Or I'm sorry, the more you talk, the less they believe, right? The less you talk, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I think I can sell this for $110,000. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's going to take about 3 months. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's about 4 or 5 things I need to do to get this home sold. Okay? So you can see that the less you talk, which is counterproductive or counterintuitive to what we think the more we talk, we're going to talk them into something, which is not the case at all. Okay? So remember, the questions you use help you control the conversation. Use this Diamond of Salesmanship that I learned from Floyd Wickman, and I think that's going to help you out quite a bit. Remember to use their name frequently. Remember to use their facial expressions. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, use visuals, okay? Use your MLS sheets, your statistics, things of that nature, and ask a lot of questions. And that's what's going to help you get more listings and more sales than you ever thought you could. So thanks a lot for stopping by. If you liked what you saw, then please do us a favor. You can see in the upper right-hand corner there, you can see that we're getting a lot more subscriptions. We're getting a lot more people who are viewing our sites. Thank you so much for letting your friends and neighbors know about it. If you liked what we had to say, then please do us a favor. Go ahead and go down in the section below, and then make sure you go ahead and like what we've put down with a thumbs up there. Rate it in terms of the stars, and or put any comments you liked in there. Let us know exactly what you liked about this or what other topics you'd like to see. So thanks a lot from me and everybody here at Realty Executives Tucson Elite, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time. Bye-bye.